it down.
Oh, he's pulling his arm. That's so mean. Stop it right now.
You can't, and like, no one's gonna stop that.
No.
Why they're angry?
They're fighting over food.
Yeah, probably food.
Oh my goodness.
They fight like
It's
humans.
okay.
They're going to... Mom, why did you tell me to get down?
I think they're brothers, maybe.
Yeah, this is just another fight. Oh.
That was crazy.
He's like, oh. Come here, Robert. Look.
Hands down, gotta be the smallest gorilla enclosure I have ever seen. Might be why they're so angry, but I'm pretty sure this is normal behavior for adult male gorillas. Yo, what's up my good people, and welcome back for a brand new episode. Alright, in this video today, we're going to unravel some of the most creepy and bizarre TikToks. Some of these TikToks really might have you sitting back in your chair like, what in the... Alright you guys, enough with this intro. With all that being said, let's jump right back into it.
There is something very wrong about Eminem's new album. To understand, we're gonna have to go way back. But first, for one of his teasers for his new album, he has a lady giving birth to this baby with black eyes. It then has a forked tongue. And finally, it's the Antichrist. In another teaser, we have what appears to be Eminem coming out of the grave. Why is this important? There's a theory going around that Eminem actually passed away in 2006. Many people even got emails about this situation. I believe it was also reported over the radio and on some articles. This was him in the early 2000s. This is him now. Very odd. Will the real Slim Shady please stand up? Not to mention in one of his old songs he was talking about being replaced. These are his new songs: Evil, Lucifer, Antichrist. In one of his older songs he said, if he could do this to his mom, imagine what he'd do to you. He's a lunatic. I'm ludicrous, Mom, look at what your uterus spawned. Lucifer. Now of course Eminem is not Lucifer. But are they showing you what's operating in the music industry? Even The Week says Eminem was replaced by a double in 2006.
Not the first time I've heard this theory, but the man ain't been the same since losing his best friend. And I mean, honestly, I can't blame him, but yeah, all that satanic symbolism is just whack. And I really feel like he just uses the satanic symbolism stuff to try to get a reaction.
There's been a lot of weird activity taking place inside of the oceans. Most people believe that the Leviathan actually returned. A few weeks ago, they put a dragon or a serpent on top of the Empire State Building. Now, some people will say this was done because of the movie House of Dragons, but it's a deeper message. 2024 is the year of the dragon. This is all connected. It's a book on this planet that no one can read. I mean, ancient spiritual teachers have been trying to decode this book for a long time, but no one can crack the code. They say that this book was written by angels. They believe that the angels came down here, wrote this book, and gave people instructions about the Leviathan. This book been on this planet for 1,000 years, and not one person have ever read one word of it, but they have images of serpents all throughout the book. This book was a warning, trying to let people know that when Leviathan wake up, he will destroy this world. This is the reason why most fish are acting so strange inside of the ocean. They see this monster down there, and the sea level is rising because something heavier is now in the sea. The people that control this world know what's about to happen, but they don't want to tell the people, but they will give you hints like this.
Did you see how hot it got in India? No. It's getting up to like almost 130 degrees in parts of India.
No freaking way.
The streets are melting.
That's so scary.
Yeah.
It's not as bad as what's happening in Britain, though.
Oh, yeah. the UK.
Dude, heat strokes over there.
They had a heat wave coming, and there's just like pictures of them just sweating, pouring water on their heads. It was literally 78 degrees.
Fahrenheit?
Yes.
Come on.
What are we doing?
I will say they don't have AC, though.
Yeah, it's true.
That's true. But still.
Aging is the aggressive pursuit of comfort. The more aggressively we pursue comfort, the faster we age. Right, we have got to stop telling grandma not to go outside, it's too hot. Not to go outside, it's too cold. Just to lay down, just to relax.
Eat the comfort foods.
Eat at the first pang of hunger, right? Because the human body responds very well to stress, right? If you don't load a bone, it will not strengthen. If you don't actually tear a muscle, it will not grow. And if you don't challenge the immune system, it weakens.
I mean, I do agree to some extent, but regardless to how well we take care of ourselves, we're eventually going to age no matter what. Like, it's inevitable, and every living being will eventually break down.
Somebody that has fooled everybody, but he simply cannot fool me, Elon Musk. He could possibly be the false prophet who presents the mark of the beast to the world and presents the Antichrist on the world stage. I mean, that's how evil I think he is. There's a good chance that the Antichrist is walking and breathing on this planet as we speak, which that means that the false prophet that comes along with the Antichrist is alive. So why do I think it's Elon Musk? He's not done anything he said he did. He's not a scientist. He's not a propulsion engineer. He don't make electric cars. He pays people to do it for him. He's one of the greatest scammers that humanity's ever seen. But I think he's actually a step further than just a con artist. I think he's evil embodied. And I can say that with confidence. Elon Musk is inventing chips that go in people's brains. And I'm telling you, that is the behavior to look for when you're talking about the Antichrist. There's going to be a mark in everybody's head, and there's going to be a mark in it or on their hand, okay? That's what they call the mark of the beast. And I'm telling you, Elon Musk, if he hasn't invented the mark of the beast yet, he is laying the groundwork for the Antichrist to take that mark of the beast and implement it on all humans. And I'm telling you, that's beyond a con artist. That is evil embodied.
It's way too easy to just say anyone today is the Antichrist. I mean, we got a whole list of candidates. I don't believe that Elon Musk is the Antichrist, but if you do, then hey, I'm not hating on you. But when the time comes and it's actually him, I think we'll all know.
Okay, white paper will not burn with today's sunshine. Under a magnifying glass. Tried it with toilet paper, paper towels. Just keep a heavy stream on there. Can't get any focus, it's not burning. Let's try this. Almost instantly. How about that? It will not burn white. Will not burn white paper. Other colors? Yes, no problem. Will not burn white paper.
This is why the ocean freaks me out way more than space ever will. So back in the 1970s, that's very important, the 1970s, the Navy had put down an acoustic sensor device, and this went all throughout the bottom of the ocean. Its initial purpose before this project really got going was for them to map out the ocean floor and to be able to detect submarines and things like that. Now, this came out from someone in the Navy whose responsibility was to monitor the sensors on this. They were detecting underwater submersible type objects that were traveling at thousands of miles per hour, which wasn't possible at the time. This happened in the 70s. Said that on top of this, they had detected many structures underwater that were active and that the Navy needed to stay clear of because they didn't fully understand what it was. Like, how does the Navy not understand what it is? And this is a report from someone from the Navy in the 1970s. So much of our ocean has been left undiscovered. Maybe there's a reason why. But a lot of people think that this is a bunch of hoo-ha and it's just a legend.
Aw, bless his little heart. My man just wanted to play. I mean, how else is he supposed to get over the moon? But yeah, this has got to be the first video I've ever seen of a cow on a trampoline.
Y'all check this out. Like, this cloud that the sun is hiding behind has broke through. Looks like a spotlight. And then it carries over. All the way over to here. Is that not the coolest thing? It's like I'm under a giant canopy. Huh.
The timeline of America doesn't make sense. The buildings, they don't make sense. We're told about, the people with horses and buggies building stuff that we can't build today. And when you go through Washington, D.C., what I would need to believe in order to believe this is you have to have a time of peace and prosperity What we've been told is we had neither in this country almost any time. We were at war with the British in the late 1700s. Then we went to war with them again in the early 1800s. Then we fought the Indians. Then we fought the Spanish. Then we had a civil war. And then before you know it, it's like almost World War I and the Great Depression, all this stuff. Meanwhile, the country expands westward. They build amazing structures all over the place before income tax, right? So where did the money come from? When you see like a place like ancient Rome, you'd say, how did they build that? Well, the Romans conquered the whole world. They fought in foreign wars. They brought plunder back to the country, and then they built their capital to look like amazing, right? They brought slaves, they brought gold. Okay, so we didn't win any foreign wars, at least we're taught back in those days. Literally, they talk about Washington, D.C. being burned down by the British, them building buildings like twice, which is like, that's a common theme in this country where they built buildings 2 times because Chicago burned down, San Francisco burned down, St. Louis burned down. You know, Google whatever major city you know of and say Great Fire, and sure enough, there was one.
It's because we have telekinesis, we have gifts within our mind and energy that are not fully unlocked and understood. It's like we forgot all those things, and then we're trying to remember them and unlock them again like they're dormant within us. We seem to have had all these divine gifts, and we're this certain type of individual, and it's discussed how some texts like the Book of Enoch consider like the Nephilim, like the cross between them and giants, they call them like an abomination. It gets into this concept and idea that we were created based on like the Gnostic texts, like the Nag Hammadi scriptures. If anyone wants to read that, the secret book of John. It describes how this creator being in there is jealous of us. Discusses how it wants to throw us, this powerful being, which I think is one of the Anuna. It wants to throw us into like it says the lowest form of matter as like a punishment for us. Because there's a jealousy inherently in who we are. But go back to that I just read. Remember, I just said, a wise man, the prudent, the most wise among the Anunnaki he was.
Our minds are definitely more powerful than we think, but having the power of telekinesis, though, as awesome as that would be, yeah, I'm not too sure about it. Maybe at one point in time humans had that power, but yeah, I don't know about today.
A facility designed to treat criminals like patients. Instead of spending years in an actual prison cell, prisoners could finish their sentence here in just a few minutes. Cognify could someday create and implant artificial memories directly into the prisoner's brain. These complex, vivid, and lifelike memories are created in real time using AI-generated content. Depending on the seriousness of the subject's crime and their sentence, the memories could be tailored to the rehabilitation needs of each subject. The artificial memories implanted by Cognify would be seamlessly incorporated into the existing neural networks of the brain, preventing cognitive dissonance and ensuring the subject experiences the memories as if they were real. The Cognify concept offers a new approach to criminal rehabilitation, transforming how society deals with offenders by focusing on rehabilitation rather than punishment. Cognify is then placed around the head of the prisoner. The intensity and the type of artificial memories is then adjusted depending on the crime. Inside the criminal's mind, time would pass differently, slower than in real life, making them experience years' worth of artificial memories in just a few minutes.
AT&T were hacked recently, and it's a much bigger deal than just AT&T customers being affected. Firstly, almost all of the users have information that was in that breach. And tell me why, as an AT&T cell phone customer, I have not heard a single piece of communication from AT&T about this happening, and yet meanwhile, it is all over the internet at this point. And this spans across multiple companies. Before the AT&T breach even happened, Ticketmaster and Santander were made vulnerable, and they said that simultaneously more than 160 companies were hacked. And with the AT&T one, it extends far beyond just AT&T customers, because they've basically said that anyone who received phone calls or text messages back and forth with an AT&T customer, that information is also in the hack. And they have been clear to say that this isn't recordings of phone calls, it isn't copies of what's in text messages. It sounds like it's much more to do with the information about people's phone numbers, who called who when, who texted who when, and all of that sort of thing. But it still means they have everybody's information.
At this point, AT&T just needs to be majorly sued. What's the point of making people pay all that money just for their data to be breached? And meanwhile, the government's just over here worried about TikTok. But yeah, if you got AT&T and you've been getting a lot of spam calls and texts, I think this explains why.
The sun isn't what you think it is. There is a theory that life might exist on the sun and that the 2024 solar storms are actually inhabitants of the sun trying to make contact with Earth. According to the astronomer William Herschel, the sun might not be a burning ball of gas, but rather a colossal planet. He speculated that its luminous outer layer shields a habitable interior, potentially teeming with life. Building on this idea, theorists like G. Buren proposed that sunspots were actually holes that led to the sun's core, which hosted an advanced civilization. Both scientists suggested that beneath the sun's fiery surface, there are cooler regions where life might thrive, protected from the intense heat and radiation we observe from Earth. But think about it. If we consider the ocean, for example, deep sea organisms thrive under extreme pressure and thermophiles are killing it within extreme temperatures on Earth. So why can't similarly resilient life forms survive within the sun's core? Could there be unknown realms within our very own sun?
Apple and all these companies have already put the money away, just like big tobacco. They've already put the
to pay out
people.
lawsuits.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
What's going to happen, you think?
Well, at some point, there's young people with more brain tumors than ever in the history of the world.
Is that happening?
Yeah.
He didn't mean to laugh during that, but
no, I'm laughing
crazy.
like
it's insane. That's happening.
I'm laughing like
that's happening.
Yeah, that's happening, dude.
Fuck.
Yeah,
that's terrible.
Yeah,
I don't give a fuck what you say. Fruit of the Loom always had that goddamn basket on
They
it.
proved that. Did you see that girl prove
No.
it?
They've always had the basket.
There was a girl on. No, they
Yeah.
didn't. And this girl messaged Fruit of the Loom on TikTok. She gained like 1 million followers just from this, and she like flew off the handle and went crazy.
Cornucopia is what it's called.
Like she's like they didn't have the wicker basket in it. I know it was there, and she like went to old thrift stores and eventually found like old ass shirts.
That's what people remember. That's what it was.
Yeah, no, that's what everybody remembers. But they're like, no. That never happened. And she messaged Fruit of the Loom and they're like, yeah, it's never been like that. We don't know why people think that. And then she went to like Goodwill and found shirts with the cornucopia and like proved them wrong. It's this whole conspiracy
If we're talking about Mandela effect real quick.
God, here we go.
Can I talk about fucking Chick-fil-A for a moment since Eli brought it up? I might be a little drunk since brunch. Don't worry about it, guys. But I
Dear God.
specifically remember fucking dating girls who worked at Chick-fil-A, and I would go into the mall and they would joke about how it's chic-fil-A. It's
because you dated girls who couldn't spell.
No. They would be like, oh, it's chic-fil-A.
Way to shit on everyone that works at Chick-fil-A.
There's no way on earth that this many people have the same incorrect memories. I'm convinced Mandela effect gotta be a government psyop. I don't know anyone that doesn't remember the cornucopia. And Chick-fil-A was definitely spelled C-H-I-C. There's no way around it.
You know that trees, if there's an insect that is on that tree, based on the insect's saliva, the tree can tell what kind of insect it is, and then it will release a chemical into the air that would draw the predator of that insect to the tree.
That's the craziest thing I've ever heard in my life.
It will also release a chemical in the air to alert the other trees in the area.
Yeah.
And so when that insect goes to the other trees, they've already been alerted and they've
they're ready
changed the taste of their leaves so that when the insect bites it, it doesn't like it.
That is insane.
I must admit, nature is amazingly clever and never ceases to amaze me.
It was proved at the turn of the century that the human body is almost 80%, 90% water, and it's also got electrolytes in it, which we know to be salt, potassium, different minerals. That means we're a salt battery. No different than the car battery, different than something like that. And there's a patent actually called the Cali patent, which I'll hold up here for the camera to see. And this patent actually was developed in 1897, and not much has been done with it, because at that time everyone was afraid of electricity. In this case, Dr. Clark developed a product using a 9-volt battery. And I'll just show you in the back here. There it is, 9-volt battery. And this particular unit, you just snap on your wrist with 2 wristbands.
We only have a minute. Yeah.
You snap it on your wrist just to prove that I'm a circuit. I push the little green light, and the thing is on. And if I put my hands together, you can hear that I'm a circuit, and I'm a closed circuit at this point. Now with
Why do we get a sound when you put your hands together?
Because I've closed the circuit. Now when I take my hands apart, obviously the electricity is now being able to flow through the body. The electricity can't go through the digestive tract, so in the digestive tract, to kill the microorganisms, the specific parasites, she's found the effectiveness of the black walnut, which the native Indians used for cleansing many years ago. The black walnut, in its green hull form, kills many of the microorganisms. And in conjunction with another product called wormwood, and cloves, typical cloves that you would get at the store, these 3 in combination have the ability to go in and kill all the pathogens. Now, what's most interesting is the Mexican people have the lowest incidence of cancer anywhere on the planet. And the reason is they kill the ascaris with this particular product here, we all know to be the jalapeno pepper. And those seeds of the jalapeno pepper, only 10 or 15 seeds twice a day, have the ability to kill the ascaris, which she found to be a major cause of why the body loses oxygen at the tumor sites. And to kill that, you use the jalapeno seeds, and then you back that up with a little ozonated olive oil.
How many years have been wasted by them not letting us know all this truth? All they feed us is a bunch of lies and BS. I'm sure there's so many other secrets out there that they just won't let us know.
We're heading into an era where the technology itself is going to start making the art. Computers soon will be able to generate content that will win all the likes, all the awards, all these quantifiable measures. And if you go up to Silicon Valley and you talk to a tech person and try to talk to them about art, and they won't really believe you when you say that there's value in something that probably can't be measured in numbers. And you know what? They're fucking wrong. We artists need to know that they're wrong and need to tell them they're wrong. It's crucial that we maintain an understanding of art beyond those numbers, beyond winners and losers. It's something more magical than that.
We are about to witness the biggest leak of all time. Disney just got hacked. Earlier today, a hacking group reportedly stole 1.1 terabytes of data from Disney. They announced this includes unreleased projects, logins, and images. They apparently tricked one of these workers to install something on GitHub and got access to their worker-only channels. This allowed the hackers to read through 10,000 channels and extract all of this data. I can't even fathom the amount of things that are about to come out. Disney owns so much. They have their own brand, Pixar, Marvel, Star Wars, National Geographic, not to mention everything they have now after the Fox merger. The amount of unreleased and unannounced projects from all of these IPs that are about to get leaked is crazy to think about. And all of this comes before San Diego Comic-Con and D23. I am expecting both of these panels to get shifted around or changed as these leaks come out. If the whole MCU's future get leaked, what's the point of even displaying anything at San Diego Comic-Con? I'm expecting almost finished or fully finished movies and TV shows to get fully leaked. With how many IPs Disney owns, they schedule releases so nothing overlaps. The most recent big leak was Insomniac Games, where they had 10 years of development leaked. This included 10 years of games leaked, and some of them like Wolverine and Spider-Man 3 were playable. The Disney leak was a little bit smaller but almost the same size, so just think about the amount of things that are going to leak. As exciting as this is for us, a lot of Disney employees now have their data exposed on the internet, which is very, very scary.
Aha, Disney, you got caught slacking. But nah, for real though, I'm sure Disney's about to fire the whole cybersecurity team.
They actually did a study on a child's brain, an adolescent's brain, after they got done playing 2 hours of a video game. And they compared their brain to an alcoholic's brain.
Yeah.
And it was the same.
What?
Yes, it was the same.
Really? From video games?
Yes. Our brains have not adapted for the amount of stimulus that these pads and these screens and these games are throwing at us.
I could see that because I took a 5-year break from video games,
Yeah.
and the day I came back, I felt like I was so high because all that adrenaline or whatever just
Yeah.
like shooting in my head.
Dopamine.
I literally felt like I was high. Like,
Yeah,
off weed.
yeah. I mean, our dopamine receptors these days are getting they're getting overrun and just worn down.
Yeah.
So it takes more and more and more stimulus for people to become happy.
I'm calling BS on this one. I'd love to see the study that she mentions. I mean, comparing playing video games to drinking alcohol, now that's just wild. There's no way in hell they have anywhere near the same detrimental effects.
This is so weird. The Gobekli Tepe. There's new stuff coming out from that.
What?
So this guy who was on the Joe Rogan podcast, he's just like, isn't it kind of weird that this site was discovered in the 90s, but yet we've only dug up 5%. He did some digging. Guess who owns the Gobekli Tepe?
I bet BlackRock.
George Bush. MySpace Tom.
Was I right?
No.
Oh.
The World Economic Forum. The weirdos that say that you will own nothing and be happy. These guys that are like dictating everything about our world, they own Gobekli Tepe. And they said we will not excavate it anymore because we want to leave it for future generations.
That makes no sense.
We could find out so much more about the people or things that built this site. I really do feel like this site had something to do with the Watchers.
Mhm.
What are they hiding? Do they know something about it? That
Yeah.
they're just like, we can't expose this because could it give proof to all this ancient knowledge that would validate scripture, maybe, you know? And what this guy said is, our government will never acknowledge what they can't control.
The government will never acknowledge what they can't control. Now that's got to be the truest statement I've heard all week.
They're hiding the true answer to this question from us. How is it that people who used horses and buggies constructed gigantic, intricate buildings like these? They allegedly only used hammers, manual saws, and basic tools. Does that make any sense to you? Look at these grand structures and ask yourself, how could they achieve all this with such primitive methods? It makes you wonder if our historical timeline is accurate or completely fabricated to hide something. It gets even scarier. What if the dates on these buildings are wrong? Imagine if that number 1 wasn't a 1 at all. Our history could be off by 1,000 years. This brings us to who could have built these intricate structures. Have you ever heard of Tartaria? Tartaria is a colossal empire that conveniently gets left out of mainstream history. But you can never truly erase history, as many references can be found in old maps and documents. Tartaria was a highly advanced civilization with technology and knowledge far beyond what we can imagine. They have even been credited to have built the Great Wall of China and many of these intricate buildings pictured earlier. Could Tartaria be the missing link that explains these architectural marvels and historical anomalies?
This is why I never really got into history back in school, because once I did, all the stuff just didn't add up. I feel like we've been lied to on so many levels, it's unreal. But yeah, one big question I want to know is, how many resets have we had?
Here. Come on. I'm right here. Come here. This is as close as I'm gonna get, baby. I think you're gonna bite my toes. No. I'm not gonna hurt you. Oh my gosh, you're so sweet. Here. I'm a little bit. You're just so strong. You're so strong. What's the matter? I don't want you to bite me. No. I'm not gonna hurt you. Oh. You're so sweet. No, baby. What's your problem, darling? Nothing. I love you. I just said, I think we just need some time before we do that, okay? See, that's why. What's the matter? I still think you're gonna bite me. I'm sorry. Yeah, see? Hey! That's why. See? You scared me. You tried to hurt me. I'm not gonna hurt you. But you tried to.
That bird has got some real trauma. The sad part is the bird had to have learned it from someone saying it. Hopefully the poor bird didn't get abused by his previous owner, but yeah, I kind of got a feeling he did. All right, my good people, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this one up here. Really hope you all enjoyed this latest episode. If you haven't already, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button before you go. If you want to see more videos like this, make sure you check out the channel sometime. Really hope you all have a great one, and I'll see you in the next vid.